5 years ago, director Lee Jae-ha swept the film industry with his debut film, The Lonely People. He won the Best Director award with that film. He became the film world's newly emerged genius director. However, 5 years later, Lee Jae-ha suffered from creative drought. He wanted to prepare his second film but could not write a decent script for a long time. His producer friend Boo Seung-won wanted to help him. He took Lee Jae-ha to a certain movie's premiere. But there, Lee Jae-ha encountered his long-separated ex-girlfriend. Unlike Lee Jae-ha, who had hit rock bottom, his ex-girlfriend, Chae Seo-young, used to be an unknown newcomer. But now she was a household name top actress. Her career was flourishing. Reuniting under such circumstances naturally displeased Lee Jae-ha. Boo Seung-won praised Lee Jae-ha's award-winning debut work in front of his peers. However, Chae Seo-young spared no regard for her ex. She stated in front of everyone, for both directors and actors, development after the debut work is more important than its success or failure. These words undoubtedly struck at Lee Jae-ha's heart. After breaking up with Lee Jae-ha, Chae Seo-young also experienced a divorce. In her view, it was precisely these difficult experiences that honed her acting skills, achieving her present self. Lee Jae-ha, however, was the complete opposite. The 5-year creative void made him feel he was rotting away. He felt he was approaching the void of life endlessly. At night, a troubled Lee Jae-ha went to a convenience store but encountered a strange woman outside. The woman held a camera and seemed to be filming Lee Jae-ha. Lee Jae-ha walked over, but his gaze fell on the grape juice on the table. After noticing Lee Jae-ha's look, the woman instinctively shielded the drink tightly. Lee Jae-ha quickly explained he didn't want to drink it. But the woman stood up and pushed one bottle of the grape juice into Lee Jae-ha's hands. Lee Jae-ha accepted it, somewhat awkwardly. Lee Da-eum possessed a strange kind of positive optimism. On her way to work, Lee Da-eum fell off her bike. Passersby asked if she was okay. But Lee Da-eum waved her hands, smiled as if nothing had happened. Lee Da-eum filmed things casually every day. She loved movies and was a devoted fan of actress Chae Seo-young. That day, Lee Da-eum came to the filming location to observe. Nearby, a new film starring Chae Seo-young was being shot. Gazing at Chae Seo-young performing before the camera, Lee Da-eum momentarily transported herself into the scene. At that moment, she felt as if she had become the female lead acting out the story before the lens. During a break, Chae Seo-young sat down next to Lee Da-eum. With excitement, Lee Da-eum offered her sandwich to Chae Seo-young. When other fans approached and disturbed them, Lee Da-eum helped shoo them away. Before leaving, she took a selfie video with Chae Seo-young. She waved and shouted her affection for Chae Seo-young. Actually, the scenery before her eyes wasn't special. She could see it every day. Chae Seo-young was curious why Lee Da-eum filmed so frequently. Lee Da-eum simply said if she didn't film now, she might not get another chance. The next day, Lee Jae-ha came to the cinema to watch the movie White Love. The cinema was empty. Lee Jae-ha had assumed young people today didn't care for such artistic and melancholic love stories. Unexpectedly, turning around, he saw a woman wiping her tears as she exited the screening room. Looking closely, the woman was Lee Da-eum, who gave him grape juice last night. Lee Da-eum seemed unwilling to be recognized and hurriedly ran out. Just then, an elderly lady approached and spoke to Lee Jae-ha. Decades ago, when she was young, this lady was the female lead of White Love. The director of that film was Lee Jae-ha's late father. This movie was also his father's final work before passing. His father had been a famous director in the film industry, but Lee Jae-ha harbored complex feelings towards this classic masterpiece. At the time his father was filming it, his wife had just passed away. Lee Jae-ha resented his father for this. For him, this film carried only painful memories. His producer friend Boo Seung-won had recently set his sights on White Love. He planned for Lee Jae-ha to spearhead an adaptation of this film, moving the story setting from decades ago to modern times, providing a new interpretation of its content and meaning. But Lee Jae-ha repeatedly refused. He lacked the confidence to reinterpret and remake his father's final work. That day, Lee Jae-ha withdrew all the fixed deposits he had saved over 5 years. He used the money to pay off the debts left by his late father. He reclaimed the house that had been mortgaged. The house was filled with memories of Lee Jae-ha's upbringing. Thinking of the lady's words, Lee Jae-ha found the original script of White Love inside the house. He discovered the script's author wasn't his father but his mother. Suddenly, Lee Jae-ha vaguely sensed that perhaps his father's insistence on filming White Love back then held a real reason he couldn't tell him. The next day, Lee Jae-ha took his newly written script to meet a certain producer, but the producer wouldn't even look at it. He casually tossed Lee Jae-ha's work aside. Instead, he urged Lee Jae-ha to direct a script written by someone else. Director Park, who had argued with Lee Jae-ha at the gathering the previous day, approached. Only then did Lee Jae-ha learn that because he didn't intend to direct the new version of White Love, Director Park had taken on the job instead. Lee Jae-ha knew Director Park's style well. If this film was handed to that director, it would undoubtedly become a red love, filled with corny erotic scenes. Sure enough, Director Park claimed he planned to cast Chae Seo-young as the female lead in the new White Love. He intended to tailor-made a sexy and fiery female character persona for her. Unwilling to let Director Park ruin his father's final work, after hesitation, Lee Jae-ha contacted his friend Boo Seung-won. He planned to take on the adaptation and remake of White Love. Lee Jae-ha stated he needed 2 months to adapt the script. The original film story was set in the 90s. Now the time needed to be changed to the modern era. To fit the new version's story, Lee Jae-ha needed a medical expert specializing in depression and terminal illnesses. He needed to consult the expert on related issues. Boo Seung-won helped find a medical expert. But after meeting him, Lee Jae-ha found this doctor spoke strangely. He wouldn't give any sound medical opinions. He stated if there was a next life, he would rather be a director. After all, directors could ignore a character's illness or death in reality. Directors could make up anything they want. After the talk, the doctor took Lee Jae-ha to a funeral scene, so he could directly experience death. But halfway through attending the funeral, the doctor abandoned Lee Jae-ha and left the scene, making Lee Jae-ha stay there to wait for someone else. Lee Jae-ha obediently stayed. Unexpectedly, later, he encountered the strange Lee Da-eum at the funeral. At the memorial service, Lee Da-eum was eating heartily, staring at the food placed in front of Lee Jae-ha. Lee Jae-ha instinctively moved the food towards Lee Da-eum. Lee Da-eum ate them one after another, without striking up a conversation with Lee Jae-ha. She gave off an utterly bizarre feeling. Nearby, Lee Jae-ha noticed Lee Da-eum crying in a corner. He approached and handed her a tissue. While wiping her tears, Lee Da-eum gestured for him to sit down. Then she stood up and introduced herself to Lee Jae-ha. She was Lee Jae-ha's medical consultant. But she was not a doctor. She was a terminally ill patient who didn't have long to live. Lee Da-eum's illness was inherited from her mother. Ever since her mother passed away, Lee Da-eum knew at a young age she was different from others. Because of her brief lifespan, Lee Da-eum fell in love with acting. She longed to experience different lives by portraying various characters. That time, Lee Da-eum finally landed a role with lines. Who knew she suddenly had an attack while filming on set? Since then, she began a long period of hospitalization. To fight against her tragic fate, Lee Da-eum started filming her ordinary every day with a DV camera, improvising performances before the camera, recording all the joys and sorrows of each day into the footage. After accidentally filming Lee Jae-ha that night, Lee Da-eum always felt she'd seen him somewhere before. After checking information, she discovered Lee Jae-ha was the son of the director of White Love. White Love happened to be Lee Da-eum's favorite movie. Therefore, the previous day, when she found Lee Jae-ha's new script at her doctor friend's place, and learned Lee Jae-ha was looking for a medical consultant, Lee Da-eum pulled all strings to ask her friend to let her meet the director. Thus, Lee Da-eum, as a terminally ill patient, became Lee Jae-ha's film consultant. In front of Lee Jae-ha, Lee Da-eum spoke incessantly about her love for White Love. In Lee Da-eum's view, this movie was tear-jerking and captivating. She especially loved its heart-wrenching romance. For Lee Da-eum, afflicted with a terminal illness, that unique kind of love made her feel the hope of being alive. It was the best medicine for her. Lee Da-eum also spoke about that day's funeral. She was accustomed to observing funerals, perceiving people's sorrow and pain as an onlooker. For her approaching the end of life, that was a shared understanding of death. Lee Da-yoom's words made Lee Jae-ha think of his mother. His mother took medication daily while alive. Bit by bit, life consumed her amidst suffering. Lee Da-yoom asked about the ending of the new White Love. Lee Jae-ha replied the ending differed from the original. The female lead might die. The similar fate led Lee Da-yoom to make a decision. She wanted to become the female lead in Lee Jae-ha's movie. She wanted to truly live once before her life's end. However, the female lead for this movie was already predetermined. She was Lee Jae-ha's ex-girlfriend, the famous top actress Chae Seo-young. But for promotional purposes, the studio also planned a token open audition. At the audition, hardly anyone's acting earned Lee Jae-ha's praise. Just as Lee Jae-ha was about to give up, he discovered the last audition actress was actually Lee Da-yoom. What surprised Lee Jae-ha even more was Lee Da-yoom's outstanding acting skills. Whether in delivering lines or interpreting emotions, or in every glance and movement, everything was a genuine outward expression coming from within. After the audition, Lee Da-yoom hurriedly left. But Lee Jae-ha caught up with her and asked if she was a patient or an actress. He reminded her this movie wasn't a documentary about terminal patients. Yet Lee Da-yoom's eyes were resolute. The female lead in this movie was a terminal patient. She could perfectly portray it without deliberately acting. Lee Jae-ha refused to take the risk. What if Lee Da-yoom died on set during filming? The entire movie would suffer more loss than gain because of her. However, in the following days, Lee Jae-ha kept having hallucinations, as if Lee Da-yoom were right beside him. The imagined Lee Da-yoom didn't seem like a terminal patient at all. Instead, she was firm and tenacious, like a simple girl who loved movies and pursued dreams. That day, the studio's chief producer came to see Lee Jae-ha. Not wanting Chae Seo-young to get entangled in rumors with Lee Jae-ha again, he unilaterally withdrew her from Lee Jae-ha's new project. But Lee Jae-ha stated that due to script changes, he hoped Chae Seo-young could take a supporting female role. He believed this role suited Chae Seo-young better. Naturally, the chief producer refused. He also brought up Lee Jae-ha and Chae Seo-young's relationship years ago. At that time, their relationship was caught by paparazzi. For the sake of Chae Seo-young's future in the industry, Lee Jae-ha took the initiative to break up with her. But in the chief producer's view, Lee Jae-ha broke Chae Seo-young's heart. Therefore, she could no longer trust Lee Jae-ha now. That night, Lee Da-yoom was eating seaweed crackers heartily outside a convenience store. The crackers were a funeral home staple snack, but Lee Da-yoom was addicted to them. Just then, Lee Jae-ha walked over. Lee Da-yoom offered him a cracker. Lee Jae-ha initially refused but ate it heartily anyway. After eating, Lee Jae-ha asked about Lee Da-yoom's dreams. Besides acting, what else did she want to do? Lee Da-yoom answered sincerely. She wanted to leave something for the people she loved. Things that would make those still alive think of her anytime. For Lee Da-yoom, the only ways to fulfill this dream were movies and acting, because in movies, she could experience a love she never had. She could live freely without constraints. While speaking, her phone alarm sounded. Lee Da-yoom immediately took out her medication and swallowed it. This was her most authentic life. Under the streetlight, Lee Da-yoom walked side by side with Lee Jae-ha. She spoke of her life dreams and regrets. Knowing her life was short, she felt even more urgency to fulfill every single remaining wish. After speaking, Lee Da-yoom shouted her heartfelt thoughts aloud, ignoring anyone around. No one could live 100 years. The time ordinary people casually discarded, she treasured as rare gems. Every single moment cherished deeply. After shouting freely, Lee Da-yoom tried again to persuade Lee Jae-ha. She wanted to become the female lead in Lee Jae-ha's movie. Lee Jae-ha didn't reply. He only asked why she wanted to make a movie with him. Lee Da-yoom couldn't clearly explain either. She just vaguely felt Lee Jae-ha might understand her. That night, Lee Jae-ha opened his email to watch the performance highlights Lee Da-yoom had sent. There were hundreds of performance videos. Each scene was only a few minutes long. And in them, Lee Da-yoom was almost always a background extra behind big stars. Yet despite this, Lee Da-yoom remained tirelessly enthusiastic. Watching such a determined and strong Lee Da-yoom, Lee Jae-ha finally changed his mind. Meanwhile, Lee Da-eum persisted. She asked her father to help transfer her to outpatient care. She wanted to continue acting. Her father refused, worried she might have another incident on set like last time. Lee Da-eum felt disheartened. Unexpectedly, she then received a message, notifying her she had passed the first audition round. Lee Da-eum was ecstatic with joy. However, a greater challenge lay ahead. The second audition round began immediately. Seizing this opportunity, Lee Da-eum sneaked out of the hospital without her father's knowledge and came to the audition. But this time, Lee Ja-ha didn't ask Lee Da-eum to perform. He simply wanted to talk with her. When asked about this movie, in many viewers' eyes, the romance in the film seemed too cliched. Lee Da-eum bluntly agreed it was indeed cliched. But for her, it felt real enough. When a terminal illness isn't just a tired plot device, but her own immediate reality, the life she perceived, made every day feel like the climax of a movie. Lee Ja-ha still had reservations. He asked how Lee Da-eum persevered to reach this point. Lee Da-eum answered sincerely as always. She wanted to be seen as an actress, not a patient. That simple original intention kept her pursuing her dream. Lee Da-eum's words made Lee Ja-ha recall his mother again. Back then, his mother kept writing scripts despite her illness. Before Lee Da-eum left, Lee Ja-ha knelt down to tie her shoelaces. He finally agreed to let Lee Da-eum be the female lead in his movie.